Hello world, GM. This thing going here. How's everybody doing? 10 people. Wow. Okay. 15 is my number for today. A little bit busier, I was hoping. So let's see what we get there. Share some screen. All right. First thing we're going to do is check the market. I do like the new OpenSea. It is showing that it's interesting. They're doing a little, I see the rankings. I like that little color coded ranking. So it looks like this guy might be a steal, which with that hat and that weapon makes a lot of sense. Interesting. Let's see. His hat's not as rare. Take a look at that one. See if anything else jumps out at us. But we've got some great stuff today. I'm gonna let everyone get on in here, check the messages. About five or six things of alpha. Some big announcements I just shared with everyone. This chart, that is the token utility tiers that are going live. We're gonna start building out the utility for the token in a more expedited manner. So everything's starting to come to fruition on that. All right, let's check Telegram. All right, check to see if we have any questions from last week, and we'll get started. Appreciate everyone being here on a Monday. Sparkle doesn't make the tiers. Well, I mean, we are open to feedback, and this is our first iteration of it. What would be the feedback you would have right away? What's the knee-jerk response? Is it too? Because the main thing was people that didn't have a lot of investment were having, large returns compared to people that have a lot of that the earning be way that I'll be earning way less. Oh, because it was basically everyone had the same range no matter how much token you had. I can see that point there. So the max. Um, we have 40 people that have more than well, I think there's 25 people with over 5 million. I wanted to say off the top of my head. Those are the whales. If you get above 5 million token, that's a whale. I don't know if everyone's in the whale chat, but I think most people are. Um, but do they actually play? That's a great question. I think half of them do. I mean, I see most of the names active. Um, but it's kind of good when they don't play because the less champs that are in the field that day kind of helps the payout for the players. Because your payout for quests are based on the previous day how much token was actually activated in the game. So are we thinking maybe a sweet spot for the most amount of players? Again, this is the lowest hanging fruit for utility, so we just wanted to get it out first. Um, it is not by any means static or set in stone, and we're open to feedback. Uh, let's see. I'm just trying to see where's the sweet spot. It looks like if you really want to, I mean, I guess if you want the best floor, you're probably at 2.5 million, right? Um, Interesting. Yeah, let's circle back to it. Let's just let me just check out the market real quick. Yeah, that guy looks really rare. Sean the Destroyer. Okay, so that's why he's got Halberd, Shamrock. Those are both three. I see what it's doing now. It's kind of pulling these color codes. Look, it's interesting. The level pulled a unique percentage. That may skew that rarity, I think, a little bit. But that does look like a pretty rare one. Hmm. Titanium bow. Why is this guy not that rare? Cap, but his halberd. An investigating face is 6%. That's interesting. I wonder. I mean, he's just not anywhere close to that other gentleman. There's not a ton of difference between those guys. This guy, let's see, titanium weapons, 2%. Yeah, it's a rare eye. Okay. About the same amount listed though, so nothing really. I saw a couple cheap ones sell, so there's that. What's going on, Carl? Is there okay? Let's see. I don't really know. I just know that right now I feel like I'm earning a fair amount for what I put in. Those tiers are going to cut down my truffles by a lot. Would you be able to give me a percentage of how much you think it'll cut down, or what's your? I mean, I don't know if you want to dox your holdings necessarily, but um, I would like to know kind of how you're looking currently. And I don't have the old. We didn't even really have a chart. I don't think. I think it was just if you had a certain amount of token, you were in the field in the range. I mean, I think it'll cut down a lot of people's maximums because we had people today even hit a couple 80,000 token or truffle hits. But I mean, to get up to that maximum, you're gonna have to have 4 million token. I mean, the token is very cheap right now, so I mean, it might be an ROI calculation. I mean, you could make $5 to $10 a day. You hit, depends on how many NFTs you have too. So you're getting an average 50K truffles per level. How many token do you have? And then JJ, is there a reason 200K? Okay, so then if you're going to be averaging like 15 to 20, so it's going to cut it in half. We've been pretty happy with our play to earn burnout rate. I mean, we're paying out. I mean, we're paying out probably like $80 to $100 a day to the just in stable coin. That's not counting anything else. Um, so we're still pushing $2,000 to $3,000 a month in payout. So that's kind of where we want to be. Is there a reason there's a bigger gap between the mid max and higher tiers than the lower tiers? I think JJ, just because we're trying to make sure that we give you some kind of incentive and solid floor. But yeah, I mean, we could tighten those ranges. Again, this is not implemented yet. Nothing has changed. This is not live. So Sparkle, nothing. I mean, theoretically, nothing's happened yet. So definitely grind it out until we push this live. We just did it on the test net. But please, anyone that has feedback, put in a Discord and tag me, and we will take it up the ladder. Absolutely do that. So I hadn't really thought about it as a player yet, because in my mind, I try to stack enough spores to hit the raffle like once a week or maybe or so, and then try to hit a leprechaun every day or every 2 days, right? My base case is I'm trying to make $5 a day. So there we go. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about real quickly is the Altura marketplace. As you know, every spellbook. This is our first NFT that goes live the moment it's created. We haven't sold any yet, but the moment you mint them, they do go live here. So it looks like we have 593 spellbooks. Floor price, volume. There you go. We are. I like the Leprechaun tiers. Yeah, I mean it's definitely balancing at Gertrude. We want people to. I would love to see maybe Ghost or someone smarter than me do maybe some ROI calculations and just I know everyone wants ROI in 3 months, but realistically, in the real world, if you get an ROI in 7 years, you're great. In crypto, I think 3 years is what everyone wants to be. I know some people want a 1 year ROI, but that's just not sustainable in the real world. That's usually Ponzi-nomics if you're pushing that. But I mean, 1 million token right now is $700. So, right ish. So let's see. I personally looking at this like I would want to be at the 2.5 million mark. So 2.5 million. Last I checked, I think we were 0.007 ish, somewhere in there, right? 0.0007. So $1,750. So if you whop down 1750, and let's just assume you have your base 6 characters and you've leveled up and you maybe have 10. Let's just say you have 10 characters. Okay, so 10 characters. Let's see. And let's say you hit a leprechaun. See, this is hard. How do we know how many tries till you get a leprechaun? But let's just assume one leprechaun every 5 days. Let's say 6 a month. And 6 a month at, let's just say, somewhere in the mid-range, like 35,000. So let's just do 33,000 Illuminati number, right? Times 6, 190. So $20 a month. It's 12, it's 20, so 1750 divided by, let's just call it 250. Yeah, it's 7 years. That's honestly, in the real world, that's pretty normal. But yeah, that's a little too long. But again, that's based on only, it's just hard to, that's a lot of variables. I didn't think there would be so many tiers, but I do agree there should be noticeable difference between. Okay, again, this hasn't went live, but let's get some feedback for the next day or two from the community. And if everyone would maybe kind of track your numbers a little bit, and I would love to have specific examples to say, like, hey, here's our top 5 examples. This is how many leprechauns they got in these 5 days. This is how it affected them. Because we definitely don't want our earnings to drop much lower than they are for the player, because we're kind of at where we want to be on a floor. I don't theoretically want our earnings to go up drastically, but that's fine too if people are buying the token. I mean, if people buy the token, it pumps everyone's bags a little bit, right? So anyway, let's put a pin in that, because I'm 12 minutes in. I didn't want to kind of meander with Mission Creep. Everyone, check out the Altura Marketplace. Kind of give me some feedback on it. There's a couple marketplaces on IMX. It appears that there's only like 3, I think. So if you have any preferences over marketplace, let me know why. I'd love to know. I'd love to kind of start digging into the marketplace. All right. Now, first things first, and please keep dropping the questions. I will check in. Alrighty. Win truffles for champs inside game. Truffles for champs. That's going to have to stay a la carte until the token is not on the ETH mainnet. Because right now the ETH mainnet is where the token is. The rest of it's on IMX. So until we merge those, I don't think you'll see much there. All right. Okay, so yeah, Tears for Leprechauns was the first big thing we wanted to talk about. That is just the first of utility. If you have any other ideas for utility of the token, as you guys know, we are very beholden to our community. That's one of the prideful things we have here. So if you have any other utilities, shout out to Nerf, shout out to some other people. Poison have been giving us great feedback on utility. We really, really want to beef up the utility of the token going into. I've been telling everyone we're not going to see a gaming season till next year. If you're waiting for this whole industry to kind of go crazy, you're just. I don't think you're going to see it this year. This year is the institutions. This year is the corporate treasuries, the capital stacks. I mean, MicroStrategy had 150,000 people on a earnings call yesterday. I don't know if you guys understand. Like, the average earnings call for a stock company is maybe like 1,000 people. There was 150,000 humans listening to an earnings call. They went over an hour. It only dropped down to like 100,000 people. I think Sailor had 70, 80 pages he went through on his deck yesterday. It's nuts. and we're seeing the bonds be completely redefined. Everything you know about bonds is getting thrown out the window. The capital structure is being redefined. No one's putting money into GameFi this year. What's going to happen is you're going to see all this institutional money roll over. Everyone's going to buy up. It's like the Wild West. You're going to see everyone staking their claim, building out their, their real world assets. But then they're going to be like, okay, now we've kind of extracted all the yield. Where do we go next? And that's when you're going to see a rotation in the GameFi and other sectors next year. So another reason we haven't went crazy on marketing, there's just no reason to. There's no one here. The space is very, very quiet. No one is banging down the doors for anything. NFTs, just go look at all the marketplaces. It's, most NFT marketplaces have closed. 3 or 4 of them have the big ones. So it's very quiet out there. Let's see. Oh yeah, Gertrude. That's literally that. We just picked the lowest hanging fruit for the utility. Shout out to Morig. He typed up like a 3-page document. No, we're going hard at the utility because if you think about it, most tokens in Web3 are kind of pointless. You have voting rights, you have your DAO rights, and obviously we're going to have that too. We're going to have where you guys can vote. That's really not utility. Then there's buybacks. We're doing that. Then we had revenue share. We were doing revenue share, and it wasn't enough to move the needle. We did revenue share for 6 months. We gave away, I think, like 9 Ethereum in revenue share, and no one really cared. So we stopped doing that, and we shifted over to buybacks. But buybacks is a utility of the token because it's a stock buyback essentially. Revenue share is a dividend, which is a utility. Because we're trying to mimic traditional finance because we can sit here and think we're smart, but there's no new ideas under the sun, right? We can sit here and say, oh, we're Web3, we're so innovative, but not really. There's not that much we can pull out of the hat. What other utility can you have? Well, you can have in-game utility, but at a certain point, how do I get someone to spend more and more money on the token with diminishing return on in-game utility? Because if I make the in-game utility too high, then we become pay to win and no one wants to play. So there's this is a tricky situation. This is not just a Champs problem. I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, hey, why is Champs not doing this or why is it doing that? And I'm like, well, the industry doesn't know how to answer those questions. This is not just a Champs specific problem. This is an industry-wide problem. We're all trying to figure out the matrix here, right? So, oh, thank you. Hey, Madukri. Oh, AC repair. I hope it's nothing serious because that can get costly quick this time of year, especially. But yes, there will be more utility, Gertrude. Absolutely. Please put in Discord and give us all kinds of ideas. We would love to have so much utility that it's almost stupid not to buy the token. But in the same go, I don't want to ruin the game for people that just can't afford it, which is the balance, right? So there will definitely be more utility. But this was the easiest, lowest hanging fruit. And again, none of this is live yet. We brought it to you all to look at. We want to hear feedback, and then we'll put it live. Okay, we're not going to just change it on you and say, oh, this is what it is. Good luck. But we have asked the devs to ready it so we can deploy it because a lot of people have been asking for something like, hey, give me some utility. We're going to have, tiers that lead you to basically want to constantly be accumulating more token because we want to add more and more utility as you scale your token holdings. The next thing, let me get a drink of milk here. Raw milk. Okay. Reign of Power casual patch is our big next patch coming out. And here's a lot of good alpha. This is really exciting stuff. The Reign of Power will be more of a sprint. So when we have tournaments, it won't be days and days. It'll be, 8 to 12-hour sprints. And we'll spread them out and have different rounds, kind of like leagues. And then we'll have a casual mode that's always open that you can grind all the time. Part of us is wanting to be able to go to gaming DAOs and say, hey, let's do a game night. Let's have everyone just come up and jump in Reign of Power, start fighting each other, start getting on the leaderboard, winning prizes. So we're actually going to have 3 specific items that you can only get from Reign of Power. They are going to be very rare. They are going to be pretty powerful. I mean, you're gonna want to. I mean, you're pretty much almost gonna have to have them in the sense of at the end of the day, you're like, that's pretty big opportunity cost not to have. They're gonna be forgeable, so we're thinking you'll get them in game, Reign of Power off chain. You'll get all three of them. You'll forge it, and it'll mint it to the blockchain. So this way, your minnow can come in with very little investment, start grinding Reign of Power, get these items, mint them to the blockchain, and sell them. But remember, Reign of Power is going to have a truffle sink where you have to spin truffles to grind. So you're going to have to be able to be good enough to do your daily quests, gain some truffles, level your player experience, open some treasure chests, stack your truffles, and then roll those truffles into Reign of Power. We're also going to have we pretty much solved the truffles NFT problem that we've had for 3 weeks. We're now finishing the action points problem with IMX. They actually reached out today, and we're putting together a meeting to get our engineers with their engineers because they just are so close to fixing it, but it just seems like it's elusive. And we're thinking like the loop is, hey, I'm going to spend like 50 cents or $1 a day to buy some truffles. I'm going to put those truffles into Reign of Power. Hopefully, I'm going to make back my 50 cents or $1 in my questing. And then maybe I hit my level experience and get some treasure chests and get my truffles. So essentially, you're always kind of like zeroing out your truffles so that you're making them and reinvesting them in the game. You're getting these rare items, and then you're turning around and selling the items on the chain. That drives the ROI for the player, not from corporate having to constantly outlay, but the ROI comes from the peer-to-peer economy, which I've been stressing for months is where we have to go. Getting investors to buy into a business that constantly dilutes itself by giving out revenue to the consumer is a nonstop higher acquisition cost of said user, and that's never something you want. You want to always be driving acquisition costs down and getting more and more users cheaper and cheaper. You do not want to be having more and more users costing more and more, right? That's just not a sustainable business model. So I'm gonna take a break here and hop back over. Raw milk for a beverage at 4 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually eating some beets and some raw milk. Yeah. Beets are great for testosterone. I'm trying to have another kid, and raw milk is just. I've been a little under the weather today. My allergies are a little. You can hear my voice is a little off. So raw milk just. Yeah, great. Thank you, JJ. It takes one to know one, though, brother. What's going on, Cossack? I jumped in your stream this morning. I was watching you educate some people on some games. I appreciate that. So, that was the Reign of Power casual patch that's coming. 3 items are going to be available. They're going to be rare. They're going to be powerful. You're going to have to spend truffles in Reign of Power to have access to those, but it'll be casual. It will not be a tournament. We'll have sprints that are tournaments that will actually pay you champs token or truffles or items, but those will be spread out every bi-weekly, bi-monthly kind of thing. And the Reign of Power casual mode will be something that you can basically do your quests, take those truffles, roll them into Reign of Power, and then also with Reign of Power, you're always going to have a chance maybe to hit a mycelium or hit these rare items or even hit some truffles, because eventually we want this mechanic of where you're generating truffles, you're investing those truffles, you're creating NFTs, you're selling those NFTs, rinse and repeat, right? That is the sales funnel for that whole process. Now, from a business standpoint, we would love to have everyone basically generating and spending 50 cents to $1 a day every day, where you're kind of like making it and then reinvesting it in the game, and then ultimately extracting value by selling items to each other, where new players that come in that don't want to, like, hey, I don't want to play 5 weeks of Reign of Power, I'll spend $25 and just buy your rare item off of you, and you go, sweet, thanks, $25, I was playing anyway, whatever, right? So we think that'll be pretty effective. Again, if you have any feedback, open a Discord, give us feedback. We love it. Let's check our messages. Madukri is, yes, Training Hills will have truffle drops. That's correct. And if you're the king and you win, so like let's say you successfully defend the hill, you will also get truffle rebate. So you're going to want to build a really good character that can hold the hills. And we're going to have probably a buff coming for the defender. Let us know if you think we should buff the defender and what kind of buffs. We're thinking maybe a life buff or a defense buff, but we want the defender to win a little more than just an ad hominem, just span, right? So we will. Sorry, my 4-year-old's wanting to. Hey, easy, buddy. The ability to create a good defensive position will be buffed, I think, in some opinion. Also, we met with a consultant this morning, and he is awesome at AI and decision tree. He's offered. I'm not going to dox him, but shout out. You know who you are. He's awesome. He's going to actually build out our decision tree, and then Connor's going to assist him. Shout out to Connor. He's awesome too. We're going to have a enhanced NPC pretty quickly. Knock on wood. We're not going to do AI right away. We're going to do some kind of script, some kind of NPC decision tree, but we will want the defender to be smarter, to be more aware of its situation, to be able to cast spells, to be able to heal, to be able to like pay attention to its actual environment. Next up, let's see. I need to be grinding over here. Let's see. We have asked the devs to design a simple global in-game messaging system to where we can send out in-game messages that will have basically like value, where like, the first person to answer this question in Discord or Telegram gets 10,000 truffles. We want to start doing active participation events, and instead of doing game nights in Discord or driving traffic to our Telegram or Discord, we want to go, say, hey, if you're in the game and we ask a trivia question or we announce a Twitch streamer that's live or we're giving away a custom skin to the first 5 people, we want to reward you for being in game. Okay? So we see when the DAU spikes, we see who's playing. The devs are kind of watching who's playing a lot, and we want to kind of reward that. So we want to have that. Also, we are discussing having an in-game global chat that would help with PvP matches, that for quests and tournaments and setting up. We are talking to the Human Genome Project. Shout out to Andrew for putting that that meeting together. They have a great tournament system that kind of just overlays onto MetaMask or IMX and allows you just to log in with your passport or your Web3 wallet and run the tournament there. So we are building a white label answer to having tournaments, so we don't have to do a manual tournament. They must see on there. Yeah. No, absolutely. They yeah, and we see, obviously when people buy stuff too, obviously, right? So we want to start like giving the active player that's in game a lot a benefit. Like if you're in game, you're going to have chances to get stuff that other people aren't. Instead of just the extractors that set, we gained 100 people in our Discord overnight. Again, we gained 500 in like a week. Not really sure. I mean, I'm happy about it, but it's kind of like, why are we gaining Discord members without giving stuff away? Because usually you have to give stuff away to get people in there. Okay, next. I'm going to stop for a second. Oh, my kid wants some milk. There you go. See if anybody has any questions. We're 30 minutes in. I'm going to fin 10 minutes early. I'm going to try to get us out early. And awesome. 13 people. I think we saw. Nice. 13. I was shooting for 15. We're almost there. Madukari. Philemon, I'm glad you got home safe, man. I assume you got home safe. So, good seeing you in here, brother. I really appreciate Altura fam. Next up is... Ooh, I'm going to skip that and come back. That's really fun. Yep, already... I've already mentioned, like I said, the Truffles NFT problem has been solved. We're now just down to the action point problem, and those NFTs will go live. Yeah, like I said, just to recap, Reign of Power will have daily mode with quests. There'll be badges for Reign of Power and the special new items to chase, like we've mentioned. I just want to reiterate that. Update on progress. All the spell bugs have been fixed, I think, except one. That was, if you guys were here for the last AMA, I said I am going gorilla on bugs, and that's what we did. Shout out to the devs, Rawcat, Mats, Connor. They did great and knocked out, I think, most everything on those bugs. Now, let's see here. Gotta always heal in case we get a leprechaun here, right? Yeah, if you have any bugs that are outstanding that are driving you crazy, please Discord ping me. I am on a bug mission because before we roll out the ROP casual, I'd like to have all bugs pretty much put to bed. Let's drink some wine with the rabbit here, right? See what happens. Okay. Any questions? Yes, I'm home. Who needs to be whooped? One minor unequipped bug in the inventory view. Yes, that was the last bug to be fixed. Thank you, Madukri. The next thing is, let's see. Yeah, the next thing is really the biggest item besides the Reign of Power casual update, which is what we're doing next. We do have a roadmap. We have a shout out to Nerf and other people that have been working with us. Let's see here. We'll be looking at dungeons next. That is our next big upgrade. So we will have essentially a defined NFT grind loop where you'll want to basically play the dungeon to get the NFT. Then you'll have to honestly interact with other parts of the game to maybe upgrade the NFT or combine NFTs to get even better NFTs. We want a dynamic system. So essentially the game becomes, I'm spending my time to get better and better NFTs that I can either A, sell on the marketplace for real world money, or become better and better in the game and yield more or win PvP more or win Reign of Power more. And the staff is actually going to be going probably full speed on dungeons as soon as Reign of Power casual is completed. We've got like a 30-page document, 32-page document on dungeons, so we've thought it out pretty well. But if you have any feedback on dungeons, there have been a couple people gave us some great ideas on dungeons. But essentially, it'll be something along the lines of you have so many, keys, let's say, to the dungeon per day. If you have more token or more NFTs, maybe you get a little more of those keys. You won't be able to sell those, but you'll be able to go into the dungeon and try to win mycelium and truffles and spores and gear. And then very rarely you'll maybe hit a boss that has like high level treasure if you can beat them. And it's going to be like a choose your own adventure. Imagine like it's going to combine explores with battles, with riddles, with choices, with kind of like you have to go certain paths. So it's like a choose your own adventure that if you choose the wrong path, it'll either start you over or kill you. So you'll have to kind of like map out or formulate what's the best path through the dungeon. Or maybe you have to get to the end of the dungeon and then go all the way back. Or, there's all these little, paths that we'll have. So it won't just be a, something you can brute force. There'll be a little bit of nuance to it. And the dungeons are quite exciting. That's what we think. We'll love your feedback on that. We think the dungeons will be one of the main draws for new players because we want to do Reign of Power and then do the perpetual rewards with IMX. And I have a meeting at 9:30 p.m. tonight with Immutable about their perpetual rewards. But again, that won't go live until Reign of Power Casual. And then once Dungeons is ready, I think that's when we're going to drop our next big, marketing spend because I want to push people to play the dungeons and really flesh that out and push that out. So, yeah, the dungeons are going to be the next big draw. I think that's the play. All right, 14 people. Thank you, everyone, for being here. One more, and we hit my goal. Now, I'm going to stop. I think that's all the new alpha I have. So, just to recap, Tears for Leprechauns, not live yet, but taking feedback. Reign of Power casual patch is coming with, some hills that'll give truffles. The king will get truffles if he wins. There'll be a cost to fight. There'll be sprints for tournaments for earning token. There'll be specific items that you can only get in Reign of Power. There'll be daily quests for Reign of Power. Then we are looking at a global messaging system to reward in-game players. We are close to releasing the Action Point NFT. We have the Truffles NFT, basically can be done in an hour. That's what we were told yesterday. And like I said, Reign of Power will have quests. It will have badges and special items. All spell bugs have been fixed except one. The other bugs are being addressed. And if you have any kind of feedback, please jump in Discord and let me know. I'm happy to be available. Yes, exactly. Caustic, that is exactly what we're going for. We're calling it the showcase. That's when we'll start spending money. What we'll do is, we'll offer the streamers custom skins that through the Altura Marketplace shout out, because, with Altura, we can generate a lot of, IP pretty quickly. And that's what we're going to. And then we'll start doing giveaways. We'll start doing, cash money giveaways. I've got so many people knocking down my door that have 15,000 viewers on their stream, but I have to give them $500. Like, I have to pay them some money, but then I have to bring $500 for their audience. And it's not really that bad of an ROI, but I don't have a call to action yet. And the call to action is going to be the dungeon, grinding out these rare items. The call of action is going to be Reign of Power to win token and grind these items. So we're very close to delivering those. And yeah, shout out to Andrew and Madukri for doing some amazing stuff on Reign of Power. It's really exciting. We had a great meeting yesterday as a team. Really, really great meeting. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and do a 5-minute warning, get you out of here early. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to check around. Probably, yeah, I was going to say, probably died of that shadow beak right there. I knew that was going to happen. All right. I don't see anything in the chats. I don't see anything on Telegram. My kid is eating up all my beets. Hey, get out of here, buddy. You got to share. It's good, isn't it? Nope, it is. I thought it was. It's pumpkin pie, I think. Okay, I see some questions coming in. I'm going to do some explorers. Oh, gosh. Yeah, totally. First, I didn't write that down. Okay. I spoke with Uniswap first, and shout out to them. They were great to work with. I got to some mid-level manager people. Because as you know, just going into their chat and trying to get someone to help you with LP is a little interesting, right? Because half of them are like, are you a scammer? Okay, so the reason the liquidity pool went up in value is because a part of the slippage is accrued by the LP provider. So Uniswap, I believe version 3 and version 4, it's 0.5%, but on version 2 and 1, it's 1.5%. And they're saying it shouldn't have went up as much as it did. They said it should have went up about 1/3 of what it did. So to be honest, we don't have an answer why me doing the large transactions, creating, I was at 15% slippage on a couple of those trades, which 5% of that's the sales tax. But they're asking me to recreate it, and I'm like, well, obviously I'm not going to do that. They said maybe try it on a lower, like try small trades and see how that goes. But I put forth my recommendation for the team to drop the tax on the token, which will clean up our token sniffer score, which will clean up our deck screener score, which will make us more attractive to investors. And move us to version 4. Now we can create the Ethereum, the wrapped Ethereum base pair. That's okay, but I would like to ultimately. Sorry, okay, buddy, honey, stop. The sorry, my 4-year-old he wants to be on this call apparently. The base pair being wrapped Ethereum, I'm obviously I'm more Bitcoin than I am Ethereum at this point. Ethereum is showing signs of life. They are trying to bring in the right leadership. I mean, they know their problems. They know their UX stinks. They know that they've got to scale. They know they've got to get their fees down. You know, have them on the call. Which who? Ethereum people? I don't know, man. They're having a big shakeup with their leadership over there. Oh, my kid. Oh, he's standing right here. He literally has a fake cell phone and he acts like he's on the phone all day to mimic me. It's pretty funny. I'm actually buying him a dummy phone so he can carry it around because that's what he thinks daddy does. He's like, hey, I'm doing daddy work. When we're not out, on the farm. But so to answer your question, Gertrude, they are not for sure why the liquidity pool went up so much. They're saying it shouldn't have, but every time you have a large slippage trade, a percentage of that is yielded by the liquidity provider, but it should have been only 1.5%. So they're not sure why we yielded almost 6%. So again, I don't know. They actually told me to go talk to another person, so I'm talking to them now. But again, most of the time when you have weird things like this happen, they want you to recreate it and document it, which is not really something I can do. Now, the other part of that is I have been put in touch with Aave because remember, a lot of this strategy is, I mean, there's rumors that Nvidia is getting ready to start buying Bitcoin and doing what I'm talking about. You buy Bitcoin with free cash. So like I could take all the money in champs. I'm not going to. I mean, I don't even have the power to. I'm not that, it's a board. But I could say to the board, hey, let's take all our cash. Let's buy Bitcoin. Let's borrow against that Bitcoin and run the company. As Bitcoin appreciates, theoretically, we would have a credit line that continues to increase. And as long as we keep our loan to values within liquidation threshold, just pour my own glass of raw milk. Awesome. Great minds, right? And we would be able to essentially become a treasury company where the company is trying to actively accumulate more Bitcoin at all times, collateralize that Bitcoin, borrow against it for operations, borrow against it for buybacks, borrow against it for marketing and scaling. Let's think about it. If I go spend $10,000 next month, let's say I call up Immutable and I say, hey, Immutable, let's spend 7,000, let's spend $10,000. That money's gone. Like, yeah, maybe I get ROI on it. Maybe, hey, we get $40,000 in NFT sales. Sure, awesome, great. But if I go and say, hey, Immutable, I'm going to take that $10,000 and I'm going to borrow against it, and I'm going to basically use that money to market what I can. So let's say I have $10,000, I borrow 7,000 against it. I go spend the 7,000 on marketing. I keep the 3,000 in equity, the $10,000 in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, theoretically, I could either pay off the loan or borrow more to do more marketing. So a lot of corporations out there are going, how do we collateralize the most scarce asset on the planet? And that's what everyone's doing. So just to wrap that idea up, I have recommended we change to a wrapped Bitcoin pair, go to Uniswap 4, remove the tax. Don't know if that's going to happen. Really don't. The board will vote on it in a couple weeks, I imagine. I am talking to Aave because I want to partner with Aave. I've almost got all their forms filled out, but I would love to be the first Web3 gaming company that Aave uses us as a guinea pig. That was my sales pitch to Aave was, hey, I've got a treasury. I've got some money personally. I've been in Aave for 5 years, 6 years. Work with me. Let me be the test case for you all. Let me try to make a Web3 company that uses Aave to unlock liquidity in our treasury, in our LP, create yield on the LP, and then use that to buy Bitcoin, borrow against the Bitcoin, and run operations. We'll see how it goes. No promises there. Anyway, so there's that. All right, so 4:45. Let's do a 5-minute warning. And thank you for that question, Gertrude, because I don't know why I didn't have that on my notes. It's really strange. I think maybe I've been dealing with it so much, I just didn't even think it was news because it's pretty much every day for me. So let me check around. Uh, the Reign of Power casual, Madukri. What are we saying? I mean, we're close. I don't know when the next sprint will be. I don't think we've actually even really framed it because yeah, non-casual. Yeah, yeah. I don't think we've actually set a date because we want to institute truffles where you have to pay. Um, because we want to create. Here's the thing with Reign of Power right now, we can give you guys token from our treasury. That's cool. But what we would love to do is give you token from our treasury and have some really, really big prizes to where let's say every fight costs you 10 truffles. And then at the end of the sprint we have, 500,000 truffles in there. We would love to give away like 80% of that to the field, take 20% to the house, and then create kind of like a tournament situation to where you can actually make some money. You can get it's like a revenue share again, right? But it's a live revenue share based on competition. So the full patch shouldn't be more than 2 weeks out. Yeah, I would think so. Like, right? Yeah, Filament. It was a pretty intense one. I was up to like 4 a.m. playing the first night, and I was like, we've got to do sprints. I can't be, playing for 8 hours straight, and then have multiple more days to go, right? So like my 8 hours wasn't really valuable because and again, we don't want people to like spend way too much time gaming. We want it to be a balance. Yeah, so Madukri's asking, would do it, doing an individual one once a month or so, and then maybe a guild competition. Again, we need feedback from you all. All right, so we will do that. Okay, 3-minute warning. We're going to wrap up here. I'm going to check just a couple more times. Yep, all that's done. And awesome. Well, I really appreciate everyone being here today. Yeah, let us know, Philemon and everyone, if you guys want to do maybe one individual, one guild comp. How many hours? Like, what's the perfect? Would we want to do 8-hour sprint? It's 14-hour, 12-hour. We don't want it to become too tedious, and we don't want people to burn out. So let us know. But again, thank you everyone for being here. Always honored by your presence. This is where we grind away and build the company and build the whole protocol together. This is a team effort. So yes, thank you, Crypto Carl. Awesome. Always appreciate you, brother. And I'll get 1-minute warning. We'll go ahead and wrap up if no one says anything. Thank you, Gertrude. Thank you. Yes, it was a great one. I'm very, very excited. Thank you, KW. Really excited to have Reign of Power have a special weapons because Oh, and just a little livener in there. We've kind of identified what the anniversary gifts we'll have in there, so it's gonna be super cool. We have not forgotten those, and I don't think you'll see any on the market anytime soon. But if you do, I would grab them because there's gonna be an item in the anniversary gift that everyone's like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna want it. So we're gonna make it very special, and the wait will be worth it on the anniversary gift. Absolutely. Yep. Caustic that, and you'll be able to mint those and sell them because we want to start jump starting some NFT sales. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much again. I am truly humbled every time you guys show up, and I really appreciate it. So, have a great day. It's awesome. Thank you all. Have a good week. Bye now.